Hey y'all, welcome back to the Brand to Sales Masterclass session 2. Yesterday was awesome. We talked about messaging, we talked about how to position yourself as an expert, and we talked about the importance of having messaging that's clear and that's simple and that it connects with your ideal client. So I want to do a quick recap about that and just give a really brief example of what I mean, just in case you're one of those ones and you're like, okay, I need a little bit more guidance on how to pull my messaging together because it's so important. And I want to take just a few minutes to give you an example of what it looks like to have clear and simple messaging for your brand so that you can quickly attract your ideal client. So one of the things that I was just talking to my husband about, how I'm a sucker for like a free car wash. Y'all, have y'all ever seen the kids on the side of the road and they have like the free car wash sign and they're waving the free car wash sign? And listen, if they have coffee, I've seen like some churches where they'll give like coffee out while you wait for your car to be washed and things like that. I've seen churches do it. I've seen even one time the church that my husband and I were attending did the free car wash thing. Hey, Natasha. So y'all, when you see that free car wash sign, my car is always dusty. My car is black and it's always dusty because I live in Georgia. So y'all know that red clay. Listen, my car is always dusty. But anyway, so if you see the free car wash sign, right, then you can react quickly because you're driving down the road, you see free car wash, you could easily pull in and get your free car wash, right? Well, people do them, for different reasons. Now, can you imagine trying to drive down the street and if the sign, let's say the sign said something like, hey, everybody, we're doing a free car wash because we want to raise money to buy new uniforms for our team. And we also want to make sure we have enough money to go to the state championships. Listen, by the time you finish reading that sign, you're already gone, right? You won't even finish the sign. You're already gone. You guys, this is how our ideal clients are. If your messaging is too long and drawn out and you trying to explain every single process and every single step and how you help your people, by the time before they even finish reading your message, they're gone. And so that's why your messaging has to be clear and it has to grab your ideal clients quickly so that you can get them to the next step. So just like when the traffic is driving down the road and that free car wash sign pulls traffic into that parking lot to get that free car wash, that's exactly what your expert positioning statement is going to do. It's going to grab the traffic that you're called to serve and pull them into your platform. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about building a profitable brand platform. So the first thing though, you guys, is making sure your messaging is on point. And we talked about that yesterday. So if you skip that step, go back and make sure you finish that step because everything we're going to talk about today is going to build on that. Okay. So today's topic is all about building a profitable brand platform. And before I jump into that, I know that some of you, I haven't met some of you yet. So just in case you don't know me, my name is Shanta Prince. I work with women coaches, consultants, mentors, and a lot of my clients, they have coaching businesses and then they do something else on like another business. As a matter of fact, I have multiple businesses. In fact, I just got done ripping and running this morning for one of my other businesses. So a lot of us inside of my program are multiple business owners. And what we focus on building a profitable personal brand. We focus on creating offers. We focus on sales. We focus on content creation. We focus on a lot of things that go into building a profitable online coaching business. So we'll talk a little bit more about the things that we do inside of my program. But in essence, everything I'm teaching you this week, those are the things that I work in detail on a very a way deeper level with my clients on every aspect of building a thriving profitable coaching brand. So the thing is, there's a difference between just doing something and then doing something with the intent to be profitable. Okay. And we talked about yesterday how when you're in business, Your goal is to be profitable in business. And so let me turn my ringer off, y'all. So the goal is to be profitable, right? We have to make money so that we can be successful in business. And I know that a lot of people sometimes struggle with this, especially women of faith, okay? Because I'm a woman of faith. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, okay? And what I've seen with a lot of women who come from that background, they're believers, they're women of faith. There's a struggle to charge what they should charge because we're so accustomed to just serving, right? Because that's what we do in ministry. We serve because that is what we know how to do. And guess what? We do it well, right? And I always say this, you cannot outserve us, right? Because if we don't know how to do anything else, we know how to serve. But then there's a struggle when you're stepping into the realm of business, because now it's a different ball game. Because now you got to make a profit. And so there's that struggle is still there, because the truth is you cannot build a business on a ministry mindset, okay? You cannot build a business on a ministry mindset. It's two different things, you guys. So when you go, like when I go and when I volunteer, look, I'm here to serve, I'm here to volunteer. That's what I'm here to do. But when I'm in business, I have to profit. So I can't give everything away for free because my business has to profit. Okay? And so it was a struggle for me too. It was a struggle for me too. Let me tell you guys, the first time I charged someone, it was the scariest thing ever. And you guys, this is going to help somebody. Okay? I just feel it. This is going to help somebody. I was in a place where I was serving in ministry. And I have about 12 years of experience in ministry leadership. And there was a time when I was serving in ministry and I was like really focusing on building my business. I had my business was brand new and I was trying to build this thing up. And so what I was discovering, I didn't realize this, even though it was happening. What I realized is that people were asking me to do things because I was gifted at those things. See, sometimes people recognize your gift before you do. And if they do recognize your gift before you do, they will constantly use you for it if you allow them to, okay? So I was in a place where I was growing my business and I had done a lot of stuff for a lot of people for free. Now, I'm not talking about like if you're in ministry or if you volunteer for an organization and they're like, "Hey, do you mind, sweeping the floor?" No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stuff that the stuff that I was building my business doing. People wanted me to do that for them for free. And I was for a very long time. But you guys, remember when I told you guys yesterday how when I was fresh out of the Navy, I got out of the Navy, my household went from 2 incomes to 1 income. I was a full-time student and I had a new baby at home. And that was a real struggle, you guys. It was during that time when when I had really figured things out and I was trying to start building my business. I was trying to really focus on exchanging my gifts for income. And someone had asked me to do something for them, y'all. And I almost said yes, but I had to pause. Because at that moment, you guys, I had been doing stuff for people for free and my bills were behind. I'm going to just pause for 1 second. I was working for people for free and my bills were behind. Okay? So here's the thing, you guys. That was a defining moment for me. Because I had to stand up for myself, for my children, for my destiny, for my purpose. And I had to say, I can do this and I would love to do it, but I can't do it for free. And I agonize over that, y'all. Like I agonize over telling this person, I cannot do this for free. Listen, that thing kept me up at night, but I finally stood up and I said, listen, I can't do this for free. So not only did the person pay me, the person called me and said, listen, I need to get you on a plane because I need to fly you to where I'm at because I need help. The person flew me to where they were and then paid me more. And then when they saw my work, they gave me more money on top of that. Y'all, a lot of times it's just you taking a stand and say, listen, I don't do that for free. Because people are willing and able to pay you. They're willing and able to pay you. You just have to make a stance. And a lot of times, you guys, it's really you just putting a package together, right? I can't tell you how many people want to get paid, but they don't have a package, they don't have an offer. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about the 5 elements of a premium offer. Okay. Right. A taker has no quit. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Run me my money. Okay. So today we're going to talk about building a profitable brand platform. The key word here is profitable, you guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. When you're making money, there's a certain way that you have to do things. Now, when I say certain way, I don't mean like in a box in type of way where you have to feel limited. But I mean, when you're making money, the truth is making money is not as hard as we think it is. For some reason, we've been trained to think that money is making hard. I don't know where that came from, but we have been trained to think that making money is hard and is not. Okay. Now it does take work. I'm not saying that business is easy in no way, shape, or form, because it's not. But when it comes to making money, I think a lot of times we overthink it, and it's really not as hard as we make it seem. It's actually quite simple. Okay. So the key word in building a profitable brand platform is profitable, because we have businesses, so we got to profit. Okay. So the first thing to understand in your workbooks, so the key point number 1 is a platform is a means or an opportunity to communicate ideas or information to a group of people. Okay. A platform is a means or an opportunity to communicate ideas communicate ideas or information to a group of people. Okay. I love words. And I'm always in a dictionary looking stuff up. Okay. And so, because I believe that when you understand words, then it opens up your understanding to different levels. Okay. So, when you think about a platform, imagine yourself stepping onto a stage and speaking to an audience who has all gathered to come and hear what you have to say. That's what your platform is like, even though these days we're leveraging the power of online, but it's still a platform. Is the only difference is it's online. It's still a platform. Like, you are literally standing on a platform and speaking to the group of people. That group of people, that's going to be your audience, people who are interested in what you offer. Okay. So here's the thing, y'all. Most people do business on a micro level. They're thinking small. They're thinking about the thing that's right in front of them, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But when you're building a brand, it's so much bigger than just closing a sale or just selling this ebook or just getting a next client. I feel like not enough people are thinking about their brand in a bigger way. Most people are thinking about, oh, I need another client, or I need to, go and close a sale. Oh, I need to finish this ebook so I can sell this. All of those things are very much needed in business. We have to do those things because we got to make money, right? But when I work with my clients, I really focus on helping them to build the big picture, right? I help them to focus on the macro, because the macro feeds into the micro. Okay. So the big picture feeds into the everyday things like closing the sales and getting that next client. And so I think so many people struggle, you guys, because they're just focusing on their brand or their business in a very small level. Okay. They're only thinking about the smaller parts of it. This is why I teach my clients how to get booked on other people's platforms and how to build their audience. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But when I'm working with them, I'm working to help them to build the macro. Because when you build the big picture, then it feeds into the smaller things, okay? So let me give you an example. When you buy groceries, you can go and you can stock up on groceries. You can buy a ton of groceries, right? But eventually you're gonna run out of food. Eventually, right? And you're gonna have to go back to the store and buy some more food. Okay. When you're building a platform, it's just like that, right? You get people into your group or your email list or wherever you're gathering your audience. We're gonna dive into that in just a second. But you gotta go out and continue to build, right? You cannot build a successful brand with 50 people. Okay. That's a start, you guys. That's only the start. You have to constantly work on growth so that you can continue to close the kind of sales that you need to close to make the kind of money you want to make. Okay. We're talking about profitability today, right? So we're going to be talking about money all day. Okay. So your authority, while you're building your platform, that is how your authority is established. That's how you build authority. Okay. What is authority? Authority is the power to influence. When you build authority, you build your power to influence. Okay? Influence is how you close the sale. Trust is how you close the sale. If people don't know you, they don't trust you. Okay? So building authority, while you're building your platform, you are building authority. And authority is the power to influence. Okay? So let's look at the building a profitable brand platform. I want to talk about the pieces that you need to have in place to build a profitable brand platform. And the important thing to understand is that everything that I'm getting ready to talk about, they all work together. They all work together to make you successful, okay? It's very difficult to have one without the other, okay? Now, you will find that when you're building a certain area of your business, that it's a struggle. And the reason why is probably because there's another area of your business that is struggling. Okay. So in your workbooks on page 3, we're on session 2, under building your profitable brand platform. The first thing you need to build a profitable brand platform after you get your messaging on point, right? We talked about that yesterday. After you create your expert positioning statement, everything you do for your brand is going to fall under that. That expert positioning statement is like a big umbrella, and everything you do is going to fall under that umbrella. Okay. Because what you're doing is you said this is what you can do, right? Now you have to show that this is what you can do. Okay. You said it. Now you have to show, you have to demonstrate it. Okay. And so one of my favorite, y'all, Biscuit is just so busy right now. I think he thinks I'm not paying attention to him. So he's looking out the front door and playing with something. So if y'all hear something strange, it's probably Biscuit. So the thing, so when you're building your brand platform, the first thing you need after you get your messaging together and you got your umbrella and everything that you're doing is falling under there because you're backing up what you just said. Because the first thing that we do, listen, especially women, I know that the brothers probably do this too, but women, one thing for sure is we'll find out if you can't do what you say you can do. We will find out, right? When people say they can do this specific thing, the next thing is that, okay, well, where are the clues that lead up to this thing? Where are the clues that show that you can do this? Because before people spend money, they need to see that you can do that thing, right? Especially when we're talking about high ticket, okay? And there's a lot of different ways to do that, okay? So the first thing you need after you've got your messaging, you know who your ideal client is. That's important, you guys. You got to know who your ideal client is. You got to know who you are. We're going to talk about that today too. You need a place to gather your audience. You need a place to gather your audience. If you do not have a place to gather your audience, your brand is homeless. Okay? You need a place to gather your audience. We're talking about a platform, right? Who are you speaking to if you don't have an audience? Who are you speaking to? Who are you selling to if you don't have an audience? Okay. No audience, no sales. Okay. Now, that's true when you start and you get into the building phase. I do teach my clients how to build starting out without having an audience. But remember when I talked about the groceries, right? When you start out, you don't need an audience. Now, I didn't notice, y'all, I didn't say you need a big audience, right? I didn't say you need a big audience. You need an audience. It doesn't have to be big, okay? But you should not be stuck at 50 people in your audience for 3 years because anything that's not growing is dead, right? So you want to be in a constant state of growth. We're going to talk about that too. You need a place to gather your audience. That is important for an expert. You are an expert and you're positioning yourself as an expert. You need a place to gather your audience. Here's what I mean by that. You can, some people use Facebook groups. I use a Facebook group. And some people don't like Facebook groups, and that's okay. You got to find what works for you, okay? Some people use Facebook groups and they gather people who are interested in whatever the title of that Facebook group is. So if I wanted to sell a gardening ebook or a gardening coaching program, and I create a Facebook group for women who love to garden, right? I'm just making this up as I go along. But if I create a Facebook group for women who love to garden, guess what? Women who love to garden are going to click join on my Facebook group. And guess what? They just raised their hand and told me they love to garden. That's who I'm looking for. If I'm selling an ebook or a course or a coaching program to teach women how to build a garden, grow a garden, then they have raised their hand and said, okay, I'm a woman who loves to garden. So that's done the heavy lifting for me, right? Because I already know you love to garden. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep building that thing so I can build an audience, a group, like we talked about in the definition of a platform, who are interested in what I have to offer. Y'all, don't focus on the quantity of people, focus on the quality. Because somehow we have gotten the understanding that big numbers mean success, and that's not a sign of success. Okay. Now, it's a sign of success if that's what you want to do. If you just want to grow a big following, then by all means, grow a big following. Okay. But when it comes to monetization, when it comes to selling, those people who are following you, who are coming into your platform, they've got to be your ideal clients. They've got to be people who are interested in what you offer. You can do more. I say this all the time, y'all. You can do more with 100 people who are interested in what you offer than you can with 1,000 people who don't care about what you offer. Okay. So when you get out of the numbers and saying, well, you don't necessarily want to grow followers. You want to grow an audience of people who are interested in what you have to offer, because that's how you're going to get the sales. Okay. You're drawing in people who are interested in you. They're interested in what you offer. So you need a place to gather your audience. That can be, you can have a social media group. Like I said, I use a Facebook group. Majority of my clients use a Facebook group. It's free. So that's not, because listen, we already have a lot of business expenses, right? And so anything that you can do that doesn't cost you anything is a plus. Okay. But here's the thing. Every entrepreneur should have an email list. Okay. Well, maybe not every. There's some businesses where you don't. I'm gonna put it this way. If you sell coaching, ebooks, if you have a product-based business, you need to have an email list. You need to have an email list, okay? And the reason why is because if I have a Facebook group, and what if Facebook shuts down tomorrow? What if Zuckerberg wakes up and is like, you know what? I don't want to do Facebook anymore. I'm hitting control out, delete, and shutting this whole thing down, right? If I only do business on Facebook and that's the only place where I connect with my clients, my ideal clients, and then Facebook shuts down, then my business is gone. Okay. So here's the thing. When you're building a platform, social media cannot be the last stop. Okay. Social media should not be the last stop. And what I mean by that is we do not own Facebook. We don't own the traffic that comes from Facebook. When I say traffic, I mean people, I mean eyes. Okay. We don't own this traffic. When you have an email list and you get people on your email list, that belongs to you. And your email list is considered an asset because you can make money from it. You can monetize it. So if Facebook decides to shut down, Instagram decides to shut down, whatever decides to shut down, you can still do business as long as you have an email list. Okay. So everybody should have an email list. Okay. So number one, you need a place to gather your people. That can be a group, it could be an email list, it could be a text list, but you need a place where you're gathering your people. Okay. You are an expert and you got to start seeing yourself as that, right? If you're just thinking about the sales, you're not thinking big enough. You're not thinking on the macro. Okay. You really got to start seeing yourself as a CEO, not just a seller of a product. You really have to see yourself as a boss, as a CEO, and you got to start thinking like that. Your message is so important. What you do is so important. If you are hiding your light, we got to get you out. We got to get you seen, right? It's your responsibility as a person who's carrying a message, as a person who's carrying a gift, as a person who is called to serve people. It's your responsibility to get out and be seen. Okay, we're gonna talk about that too. Okay, so number one, you need a place to gather your people, gather your audience. Okay, the second thing you need to make sure that you have a strategy for nurturing that audience. Okay, here's what I mean by nurturing. I mean adding value, or simply put, content. Right, content is everything. Content is everything. Y'all see I'm smiling when I say that? I love content. And I love helping my clients to come up with content ideas. One of my clients is just messaging me yesterday and she's like, I need an idea for this. And I'm like, oh, you can do this. I sent her a couple of things. I'm like, you can do this, you can do this. Content is everything, you guys. Content is how you nurture your audience. Okay. Remember when I talked about how you got to see yourself as a CEO, you got to think on a macro level for your brand. If you're not talking about your ideas, if you're not talking about your inspiration, if you're not talking about your processes, you are behind the power curve. And we got to get you to a place where you're showing up like the expert that you are. I already know you're an expert. You guys told me yesterday all the stuff that you do, y'all are amazing. But does your audience know how amazing you are? Do they know? Okay, that's the thing. If you have to really listen, when you're an expert, people want to hear from you. And remember when I said being an expert is not about knowing everything. It's not even about how much you know. It's about how you position yourself. When you show up like the expert, that's how people are going to perceive you. Okay. And branding is about perception, even though some people think it's about deception. And it's not about deception at all. Branding is about perception. What does your audience perceive as valuable? What do they perceive as valuable? Okay. This is when we talk about high ticket buyers, there are certain things that high ticket buyers perceive as valuable. Okay. There are certain things that they're looking for that's going to check those, hit those check boxes in their minds, right? We talked about positioning, right? Positioning is a place you hold in their minds. There are certain things that we're looking for. And based on that thing, we are going to make a determination. Did you know that 80% of what we learn is learned by our eyes, our sight? Okay. 80% of what we learn comes through the eyes. Y'all, that's huge. Okay. That statistic I got off an optometry website. 80% of what we learn comes from the processing of visual information. When your audience is looking at your brand, what are they seeing? What visual clues are you giving them to process so that they can make the determination that you are the bomb and that they should be working with you? Okay. So you need a place to gather. You need a nurturing strategy. That means you need a content strategy where you're adding value to your audience on a regular basis. Okay. This is why I tell my clients they all of my clients understand that they should be creating content, new content every week, because that's nurturing, right? It's relationship, it's building connection with your audience. Okay. Number three, you need visibility. Remember the grocery example, right? Let's say you get your however you're going to gather your audience, right? Any way you choose to gather your audience, you should still have an email list. Okay. Remember when I talked about we don't own this traffic, right? But when you own an email list, that belongs to you. So you have to listen, we can leverage social media to take traffic that we don't own and convert it into traffic that we do own by getting people on that email list, right? That's called list building. Okay. Because when you have an email list, you can make money anytime you want to. You can make money anytime you want to when you have a list, okay? An engaged list. All right. So you need visibility. So visibility is you going out so that you can be seen. Don't hide your light, right? Visibility is you going out and you being seen so that other people can find you. So that other people can say, you know what? I just heard Natasha on this podcast and she was amazing. Let me go find her group. Let me go find her page. Let me sign up for her workshop that she's got coming up. Okay. This is why when my clients know how to get booked. We've talked about pitching, how to pitch yourself, how to get booked on other people's platforms. Why? Because we're working on the macro level. You're not just a seller of a product. You've got ideas. You've got processes. You got stories to tell. You got lives to change. And it's bigger than you just saying, okay, well, I gotta finish my ebook and I gotta go make the sale. Yeah, you gotta do those things too. But if you're doing the stuff that I'm talking about, then your stuff is going to sell. It's going to sell. Okay. So you need visibility. You need to be seen. Okay. Number 4, you need sales. That's the profitable part. You need sales. That means you got to sell. I was talking to my clients and I was like, you can't, there's no way to get around sales. You cannot have a successful business without sales. There's no way. You got to sell one way or another. So you might as well decide you're going to become great at it. And that's why in the next few weeks, we're going to be focusing in on sales, right? Sales is very important. And we're going to talk about sales on Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm going to show you how to design your sales game plan, okay? And it's going to include this stuff that we're talking about today. So you need sales. You got to sell because that's how you make money, okay? And then number 5, you need conversations. You need conversations. And when I say conversations, I mean with your audience, with your people. You know how many people they want people to pay them, their coach or consultant, and they want people to pay them, but they don't want to talk to anybody. Y'all, I cannot. I laugh at that because I'm like, I don't understand how you want to close a sale or how you want this person to pay you, and you don't even want to talk to them. I'm an introvert, and I'm always telling, look, I'm always saying, look, you got to talk to people, you got to have conversations, okay? But see, the thing is, with most introverts, you have a switch. You can turn on your switch, do what you need to do, and then you can turn that switch off. Then you can go take a nap later on, right? You go take a nap later, right? But because usually an introvert needs to go and recharge. They need a little minute. They need time to go and recharge after dealing with people. Listen, if you're an introvert, you can still be bomb at business. How do you want somebody to pay you, and especially high ticket? Because that's what we do in my program. We focus on high ticket. How can you want somebody to pay you a high ticket price and you don't even want to talk to them? If I'm going to hire somebody and this person, I'm going to pay this person top dollar to help me accomplish something, how do you think I'm going to feel if that person don't even want to talk to me? They want me to just click a link and join their program. And and it does work. Like some people will join your program from your link. Some people will. Y'all, but it won't happen often enough for you to make the kind of money that's going to make a big difference for you. See, what a lot of people do, they post the link and they say, here, join my program. And that's okay, y'all. But it's really more powerful when you have a relationship with the people in your audience and you post that link. If you post a link, but you've been talking to your audience all week, you've been talking to them in the messages, you've been talking to them on Zoom, you go live with them every week, you're motivating them and you're adding value to them, and then you post that link. You're gonna get you're then it's gonna be effective. See what a lot of people do, they skip all the stuff that we're talking about and then they just want to get straight to the sale. And it's like, wait, first of all, we don't even know. Can you actually do what you say you can do? We don't even know that yet. First, and then second of all, who are you anyway? Because I don't even know who you are because the person doesn't show up and serve their audience, right? So you got to have conversations with your people. Let me tell you guys. People always ask me, "Well, how do you know what to do? How do you know?" If you don't know what kind of content to create, if you don't know what kind of offer that you could to create, if you don't know what to sell, I guarantee you it's because you're not talking to your people enough. Because when you do talk to them, they will tell you what they need. I remember one time I had an offer that I was selling, and I the date was just it was a weird date. And when I started talking to people, I'm like, how come nobody's like buying my offer? And so I started talking to my people. I started talking to my audience, and I found out that they were like, "Girl, I gotta work. Like I cannot do that. I cannot do that date and time." And then I started asking more people, and I found out I'm like, "Oh, duh! Like they gotta work. Let me change the date around." I changed the date, and then it started selling. Started selling like hotcakes when I changed the date. But I didn't know that until I started talking to my people, until I started having conversations with them. Right? Allow your audience to be co-builders of your brand. And here's what I mean. Your brand is not what you think it is. It's what they think it is. Right? See, a lot of us, when we start out, sometimes we get that backwards. We think our brand is what we think it is. It's what they think it is. What does your audience think your brand is? Because whatever they think it is, that's what it doesn't even matter what you think it is. What do they think it is? How are they receiving your message? You won't find that out until you have conversations. Okay. Now, what we do is we dream up what we want our brand to look like, and then we set out to accomplish that. And then we check for comprehension, because as a messenger, we all have a message, right? All of us have a message for our ideal clients. My message is you can make money doing what you love. Okay. We all have a message. Okay. That's my message, like summed up in a very brief way. You can make money doing what you love. Okay. As a messenger, you have to check for comprehension to make sure your messenger is being received properly. Okay. When you now, it depends on the situation. Now, if you arguing with a friend or a sibling or something, you may just say what you say, and then you just done with it, right? You just be done with it. It's like, look, I said what I got to say, and I'm done, right? But that couldn't be me, because I always had to have the last word. But anyway, when you're building a brand, it's really important to see how your people are receiving your message, right? And the way that you do that is by having conversations. Okay, it's okay. Listen, y'all have been DMing me all like since we started, even before we started. Y'all have been DMing me, and I got a couple of y'all. I didn't miss you. I got to respond to a few of y'all. I don't get an attitude when you send me a message. I want you to send me a message. Why? Because I want to talk to y'all. I want to know like what you're working on, what you're doing, what to create next. This is how I know what kind of content to create, because y'all tell me. This is how I know what kind of offers to create, because y'all tell me. Okay? Y'all tell me what you're working on. You tell me what you're struggling with, and then I know, okay, I need to do this. Oh, y'all don't know that? Let me help y'all. Let me teach on this, because this is what, if you're struggling with this, oh girl, I got you on that. Okay? I talk to my people. You got to have conversations with your people. If you want to do things differently, you got to have conversations with people. Don't avoid your audience, okay? Be open to having conversations with people. Now, here's my thing. Here's my rule, y'all. I talk to everybody in the messages. Like I do. I have time set aside just to talk to people in the messages. That's how serious it is. However, I don't get on the phone with everybody because I don't have that kind of time. But I do have a lot of time to communicate with people in the messages. Now I get on the phone with people when this person is someone who's ready to invest. Okay. You cannot get on the phone with everybody because you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be exhausted. You can't get on the phone with everybody, right? You got to preserve your energy. And so this is why I teach my clients how to pre-qualify people. So before they get on the phone with anybody, they know what to ask and what to check for before they get on the phone with anybody, because I don't want them burned out. And one of my clients know exactly, she knows about that burnout, and she'll tell you the same thing. Don't burn yourself out, okay? So when you're building a profitable brand platform, all of those pieces work together. Your place, your gathering place, right? Your email list, your Facebook group, whatever you're using, your nurturing process, your content strategy, your visibility strategy, your sales strategy, having conversations with people. All of that stuff goes together, okay? When a person who has a coaching business, or even for service providers, if you're a service provider, this applies to you too. When they're struggling with business, I promise you, majority of the time it goes back to one of these things. If you have and let me tell you, a lot of times when people think they have a sales problem, it's really a visibility problem. Okay. Sometimes when someone's like, "Oh, I'm not closing sales," and it's because not enough people have seen you yet. Okay. It's not because you can't sell. It's because not enough people have seen you yet. You can listen. If you get upset because nobody, bought your program, but you only offered it to 2 people, you got to go get more eyes on your brand, right? Because a lot of times, the first 2 people are probably going to tell you no, and that's okay, right? Because when you understand the numbers, you understand, okay, I got 2 no's. Let me keep going, because your yes is coming, and then another yes is coming after that, right? So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of no's. You're gonna get some no's, and that's okay. A lot of times people get discouraged, right? But you got to keep going. So if let's say you're having a problem with, let's say you got a Facebook group and you've got 50 people in your Facebook group, and let's say you connected with these people, and maybe you got 2 new clients out of that 50 people, and that's amazing. And then let's say, okay, now 3 weeks have passed, and you're like, okay, I got to find my next client. If you still got the same 50 people in your group, it might be hard for you to find your next client, right? That's why you need a visibility strategy where you're out and you're being seen, and you're connecting with people, and you're on other people's platforms, and you have a constant growing, or a constant new people coming into your platform. That is how you get more clients. You have to have a visibility strategy, okay? And this is why, like I said, I teach my clients. They know how to go pitch. They know how to go get on other people's podcasts so they can grow their audiences, okay? That's really important, okay? Now, there are some ways you can get visibility where you pay for it. You can pay for ads. You can, you can pull that money out and pay for advertising. That's a great way to get visibility too. However, I usually recommend for my clients that they make sure their offer is selling first. Because what happens is when you spend money on advertising and you don't know if your offer is going to sell, you might not make that money back. And I don't encourage my clients to spend money that they don't need to. I teach a lot of organic strategies, meaning I can show you how to do things without running ads. And this is so funny, y'all, because when I first started my business, that's the only thing I knew how to do was run ads, right? I used to do ads as a done for you service. And if somebody wanted to get some ads running and they wanted to grow a page or get people on their email list or sell a product, like that was my jam, right? I don't do that anymore. So don't be messaging me saying, "Can you run my ads?" Because I'm gonna tell you no. But I used to do ads as a done for you service, and that was the only way I knew how to get clients. Now, y'all, I don't even run ads as much as I used to, like at all. Like I ran ads last week, and then I think I turned them off yesterday or the day before yesterday. But I don't run ads nearly as much as I used to, because you really can do this thing without spending a lot of money on ads. And I always recommend, like, when you get enough money for ads, then when you get your business revenue up, then you can, spend some money on advertising. But y'all, like, you can literally go all the way to 7 figures. It's very possible. You can go all the way to 7 figures without ads. Now, I'm not saying you have to do it that way, because everybody's journey is different, but I just want you to know that it is possible. You do not have to spend a lot of money on advertising, okay? All right, now let's talk about you. We're talking about building a profitable brand platform. And the thing is, you are the brand. Okay. You are the brand. So I want to talk about the things about you that'll help you build a unique personal brand. Because a lot of people feel like, oh, like, how do I stand out? Okay. Let me tell y'all a secret. First of all, there's only one you. So there's only going to be one brand like yours. So as long as you're authentic, your brand is going to be different. But the big secret is one of the biggest ways to stand out is to be consistent. Whatever that looks like for you. If consistent for you is posting once a week, then that's what it is. Okay. If consistent for you is posting every day, then that's what it is. Okay. But I will tell you, people always ask, well, how often should I post? There really is no rule for how often you should post. The only principle to understand is the more you post with intentional posting, not just posting to put a check in a box, but the more you post, the more you grow. So it's according to how you want to do this thing. Okay. Now, there's so many different things about you that make you unique and that's going to help you to create a beautiful and powerful brand. Listen, you cannot be replicated. You cannot be replicated. You know, what one of my clients and I were talking about the secret sauce, y'all. So let me tell y'all a quick story. Some of y'all may or may not know that I've actually been on Food Network. I've been featured on Food Network. And I went on the show and I competed in a cooking competition and I won a cooking competition. And they came out and they created a beautiful backyard for me and my family. And y'all, when I went on the show, it was very what's the word? There was a lot of pressure, first of all, because um you got cameras all in your face, like big cameras. I'm not talking about like little little phone cameras. You got big cameras in your face. They want you to talk to the producers. You got these cameras in your face, and then you got 15 minutes to cook breakfast on the grill. And it was just a lot of pressure, right? So check this out, you guys. The first 2 rounds I was losing. Okay. So the first round, I think I got like the lowest score. And then the second round, I got the lowest score. And my two castmates, they were tied when we went into the third round, and I was losing behind them. The third round, you guys, remember I told you guys I sell a barbecue rub. The third round, I cooked some salmon on the grill, and I put my barbecue rub recipe together. And I put this rub on the salmon. You guys, that salmon won the show. The third round, I got the highest score, a higher score than anybody got on that show. And I got the highest score. And then I tied with the person who was number one. I tied up with him. And then the judges, they actually had to call somebody from the Food Network and say, what do we do? Because this has never happened before. And they told us, they were like, we just added the numbers together. We weren't thinking, well, this person wanted that. He said, we were just adding the numbers together. And we were like, oh my goodness, it's a tie. What do we need to do, right? So they decided that I was the winner because of my rub on the salmon, which I use my rub on, y'all. And see, y'all, the thing is, one of my clients and I were messaging back and forth yesterday, and we were talking about the sauce, how the secret is in the sauce. Okay. The secret really is in the sauce. Okay. Listen, the experience was an amazing experience, you guys. It was grueling. The guy next to me, y'all, I'm so glad I didn't look at his Instagram page until after. Because if I had looked at his Instagram page before, I would have been like, you know what? Just go and check me out. I'm going back home because this is not gonna work, right? So I was able to go and win this competition because of this sauce. It was a rub, but y'all get the point. The secret was in the sauce. And so when you're building a personal brand, your secret is in the sauce. All of these beautiful ingredients come together to make the person that is you, and that thing cannot be replicated. And if you work the things that God is giving you, you can build an amazing brand without looking at other people. Remember when I told you if I had looked at his page, I would have been like, oh, I quit, right? A lot of people, you look at other people, and this person has been doing it for 20 years, and you're just starting out, but you want to look like that person that's been doing it for 20 years. And because you don't look like that person that's been doing it for 20 years, You just stay stuck. You just stay stuck because you're saying, "Oh, I want it to look good. I want it to be perfect when I launch." Y'all, you're not going to have a perfect launch. The way that you get better at stuff is by doing it, not sitting back and waiting. Oh, well, let me get this. Let me get this. Listen, you got to launch. You got to do it. That's how you get better, right? None of us get better by sitting on the sidelines. Okay. So the things about you that help you build a unique personal brand. First of all, your perspective on things is going to be different. How you see things is going to be different. Okay. This is why you got to build your platform because your perspective on things is very much needed. So, for example, one of my clients is in health and wellness, in the health and wellness space. As a matter of fact, if you look at her profile picture, she's got something special coming up. So, my client, Natasha, she thinks that wellness should be fun. That's a perspective that she has that some people do not. So if I'm her ideal client and I'm sitting over here miserable trying to get my health on track because I feel like it's forced and it's exhausting. It's not fun for me. It's exhausting, right? So if when I see Natasha's perspective about how wellness should be fun, I'm like, I've been look, where has she been all my life? I need this person, right? But guess what? Somebody else may not be attracted to that. And that's okay because that just means that's not Natasha's ideal client. So this is what I mean by like you guys, when you're thinking about your brand on a macro level, your perspective, your ideas, all of that stuff matters and your audience needs to know that. Okay? When you're building, it's so important to not just show one side, but you really got to think about what are you putting out there? What are you putting into out there into your audience? What are you releasing into the atmosphere? Okay? Your perspective on things is a game changer. And the reason why is because you're going to, when people see how you think, you're going to draw in people who think the same thing. Okay. As far as your ideal clients. Now, when you're building a team, you don't want people on your team who think like you. You need somebody that's going to challenge you when you're on your team. But for clients, you want like-minded people. So when you're sharing your perspective about things, there's something in your niche right now that you disagree with. Okay. If there's something that you see happening in your niche right now that you disagree with, let me know in the comments. What's one thing that you see happening in your niche that you disagree with? Let me know in the comments. I told you one of mine. I talked about how some people they want to just get a client, but they don't want to talk to anybody, but they want to get a client. Another one is now I love courses, but I don't think that a course is I don't think a course is the first thing for everybody. I don't think everybody's first step is a course. Okay. So that's a perspective that it may ruffle some feathers. There's some stuff that you think that will ruffle some feathers. And guess what? Some of your ideas, your perspectives go against some of the gurus. And that's okay, right? If you think something different, let that be known. Because guess what? You're going to turn some people away and you're going to draw some people in. Somebody's going to be like, I'm so glad she finally said that because I thought it was just me, right? So your perspective is one thing that's going to help you to build a unique brand, okay? The other thing that's going to help you to build a unique brand is your gifts. Your gifts that you have set you apart because nobody has the same gifts as you, right? Nobody has the exact same set of gifts as you. Look, I may be good at speaking, and then you may be good at speaking, but maybe I'm great at technology, but maybe you're bilingual. And so, even though some of the things that we're great at, but we're still different because we don't have the exact same set of gifts, okay? So, that's another thing that's going to set them apart. Everyone wants to love themselves on the outside, but doesn't want to love themselves on the inside by changing. That's good. That's a good one. Yes, that's a good one. Working from the inside out. I love that. That's a good one. So your gifts are going to set you apart. Another thing that's going to set you apart is your experience. Your experiences are going to set you apart. Y'all, I'm a Navy veteran. And a lot of people come and connect with me because they see that I'm a veteran. And I go connect with people because I see that they're a veteran, right? So that's a little special little thing that I have, and that some of you might have. I know we have some veterans in here, but we have a special little thing that makes us like go and connect with each other because we feel like we have a connection because we understand what it's like to be in the military, right? So your experience, that's going to set you apart as well. I have 10 years of experience in the Navy as an information systems technologist. Okay. So because of that, I have a strong background in technology. And I leverage that to help my clients when they're like, well, how do I set up this email list? How do I actually do a reel? Like I get the idea, I understand the concept, but how do I actually do it? How do I do this thing for my website, right? All of that stuff goes into how I serve my clients. But maybe you teach on branding, but maybe you have some different experience. Maybe you have an experience with getting corporate contracts. Maybe you help your clients get corporate contracts, right? So I'm just explaining this also that you can see how the different things go together to create a really powerful brand. And you've got to be able to leverage that thing. You got to be able to work that thing, right? So think about your perspective on things. Think about those things that you're great at, right? Think about the experiences that you've had, right? What kind of things have you experienced that really set you apart that you can leverage to help your clients? I believe that nothing is wasted. I believe that everything that we've been through, every experience that we've had, I believe God can use that. God can use all of those things. So the other thing that's going to set you apart and help you build a unique personal brand is your personality. If you're funny, be funny. If you're serious, then be serious. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I don't think I think my audience is going to think that's boring." Y'all, like you'd be surprised at like what people find interesting. Those little things about you that you think are so boring. Listen, you'll have people messaging you like, "Well, where did you get those earrings from?" And you'd be like, "Well, I just bought it from the thrift store." Like, but you'll have people asking you things because that stuff is interesting to them. And I've heard people complain about why do people post food? I'm like, because their audience wants to know what they're eating. Don't get mad at them for posting food. Their audience wants to know what they're eating. Okay. But y'all, your personality, let your personality show forth. Okay. Um, if you are, listen, you might think you're boring or you're uninteresting, but I promise you, your ideal clients, your audience is very interested. Okay. They're interested in your personality. So when my clients, we did a Reels challenge a little while ago. Y'all, one of my clients messaged me last night and she sent me a screenshots of her Reels, and her views on her Reels have increased tremendously since our Reels challenge. And I was just looking with my mouth open, like, oh my goodness. I have another client, y'all. I'm obsessed with her Reels. Like she was one who was like kind of kicking and screaming a little bit, y'all. Now she goes off on the Reels, and I'm like obsessed with her Reels now. But we did a we did a Reels challenge, and the fun thing is to show your personality in the Reels. It can be fun. See, for me, I like to teach. So if you go look at any of my stuff, you'll see a lot of teaching. You'll see a lot of me talking to the camera, right? And but I said this, like, if you dance, then dance and have fun with it, right? If you don't dance, then don't dance. But at the end of the day, it's your personality, and that is attractive. Okay, your personality is attractive to your people, and if it's not attractive, they're just not your people, and that's okay, right? I feel like that we get so caught up in who's accepting us and who's not. When it comes to building a brand, that's what you want. You want people to be like, you know what, I don't like this person, or I repel them and keep it moving, right? But guess what? For the person that's repelled by you, they're turned off by you, there are going to be so many more people who are turned on by you. They're interested in what you have to say. They're interested in your ideas. They want to know your perspective on things, okay? So don't get caught up in who's unfollowing. People unsubscribe from my list every day. People leave my group. I'm not worried about that. If they're leaving, they're not an ideal client anyway. Okay. So your personality is going to set you apart. I had a client in the past. She said, well, somebody told me that I'm too rough, that my delivery is too rough. Should I change that? And I said, no, ma'am, you should not. And the reason why you should not you should not change that is because some people need that rough around the edges type of coach. Some people need the coach that's going to give them a kick in the pants and help them get on track, right? Some people want the BFF kind of coach that's going to come alongside them and go run with them and go do, get in it with them, right? So your style is going to be great for the people who you're called to serve. Listen, if you have to change something, you're not building right. If you have to change something about yourself, you're not building it right. Okay. Who's that, Jackie? Y'all. So the other thing, y'all, to think about when it comes to building a unique personal brand is your story. Your story is going to set you apart like nobody's business. Your story cannot be stolen because nobody has been through the exact same things that you've been through. Okay. I'm going to tell you how to tell your story in just a minute. Okay. I'm going to talk about how to tell your story. So, because that's a really important part of your brand. Your story is a very important part of your brand. Now, I told you my story. I talked about how when I was in the Navy and then I got out and then I couldn't find my purpose. I struggled to find out who I am without my uniform. And I talked about how I was just in this really not in a good place, like not financially, because while I was trying to figure things out, like the bills are falling behind because I just felt so stuck. Then I figured out that I love to teach, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, I love teaching. Now, what do I do next? Like, how do I do this thing for a living? Because this is what I want to do, right? And so I figured out how to teach and how to make money doing it. And now, ever since then, I've been on a mission to do the same thing for other women. I'm like, how many other women, and a few gents too, I've worked with some of the gents too. How many people want to find a way to make a living doing what they love, right? That's why I'm here to help you package up your expertise into an offer that you can sell, to help you get seen, to help you close sales, right? So your story is a very important part of your brand. Now, when I talk about story, I don't mean airing your dirty laundry, right? People think you got to tell everything and you don't, right? First of all, if you're still in the test, then that's not something that you have to talk about, right? You can talk about it when it becomes a testimony, right? If you're still in the test, you don't need that's not something that you need to talk about. When you overcome something, then you can talk about this stuff if you want to. So what I'm saying is you don't have to put anything out that you don't want to. Okay. But there's a way to be authentic without airing all of your dirty laundry. So I don't, so if and I'm saying that because I know some people are so afraid to talk about their past. You share what you want to share. If you're not comfortable sharing certain parts, then don't share certain parts. But there's a way to tell your brand story in a way that inspires people and it gets them excited about working with you. And they feel connected to you, y'all. Like I get so many people to come connect with me because of my story. And I go and I connect with people because of their story. Stories are powerful, you guys. When I was on the show on the Food Network, um, one of the things that really kind of stood out was the stories. Like there was one, I told a lot of stories and I decided I was going to do that before I went. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna tell stories because everything that I cooked had a meaning. And there was another, one of my castmates, she was on one, I was on one end, we had one person in the middle, and then I was on the other end. She had a lot of stories too. But her stories were drawing the judges in. One judge, and my story was drawing in another judge because he was really like resonating with what I was saying. And this other judge was really resonating with what she was saying. So the thing is, when you tell stories, your ideal clients resonate with what you're saying, right? They find something in you. Remember when I talked about how you have the same DNA as your ideal clients. Okay. And when you tell your story, something in them lights up. Like, oh, Natasha did that. I can do that too. Jackie did that. Oh, if Jackie did that, I know I can get through this, right? So when you tell your story, you tell your story in a way that inspires people, okay? So the first thing when you tell your story in the components of your story, you want to tell where you were, okay? You want to talk about where you were. And I talked about that when I said, well, I was in the Navy, okay? Where were you? Okay? And then the second thing you want to talk about is what caused the change? What was the point of change? Okay? So where were you? What was the point of change? Okay? I talked about my point of change was when I got out of the Navy. Okay? That was a point of change for me. Okay? The next thing you want to talk about is you want to talk about what was it like there? Okay? Who remembers what I said, what it was like for me? I talked about how I got out of the Navy. I was in the Navy, I got out of the Navy. And then what was it like for me there? Okay. I talked about how it was stressful. It was hard financially. It was hard. Listen, it was even hard spiritually because I was praying every single day, like, Lord, help me figure this out. I was like, Lord, why hast thou forsaken me? Because I can't figure this out. So it was hard. It was just a very difficult time, right? So you want to talk about, so what was it like there? Okay. Then you want to talk about what was the point of change for you in that place? Okay. What was the point of change for you from that place? Okay. Then you want to talk about how did you get back up? How did you get up from that place? And then you want to talk about what it's like now. Okay. So where were you? What was the point of change? Okay. What was it like there? Okay. Then what was the next point of change for you? Then how did you get up? And then where are you now? So when let's say you get invited to speak, or you're on a podcast, or you're teaching, let's say you're in your own workshop and you're teaching and you're telling people about yourself. You always, when you tell your brand story, you always want to tell people how you got back up. Because if you only tell them about when you were down, you're gonna have everybody crying. You're gonna be crying. Everybody's gonna be sad and depressed, right? Everybody's gonna be sad. If you up there talking about all the bad stuff that people said about you and all the people who left you and things like that, we all have stuff like that in our lives. None of us have a clean slate. We all have stuff in our lives, okay? So you never want to leave people down in the dumps. You always want to tell them how you came back out of it, okay? That's why I said if you're still in the test, maybe that's not something that you talk about right now. Unless you say, "Hey, listen, you guys, I'm dealing with this thing right now. When I come out of it, I'll tell you all about it." Okay? So another thing too is I've seen this happen too, guys. If you're not healed from something, don't talk about it. Because at the end of the day, listen, we are leaders. We are leaders. And leaders, we have to have a safe place. This is why I tell my clients, it's a safe place. If you feel like venting, this is a safe place. Because the place to vent is not to your people. It's not to your people. Okay. That's when you lead. But there is a place for you to vent. Y'all know what the preacher in Ecclesiastes said. There's a time and a place for everything, right? So when you're leading, right, then that's what you're doing. But when you're venting, you can do that somewhere else, right? That's why, we have a safe place where you can vent. We get it. We understand. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. Natasha put a quick summary in here. So you talk about where were you? So we're using my story as an example. I was in the Navy. What was the point of change? Well, I got out of the Navy. Okay. Number 3, what was it like there? Okay, it was terrible because I couldn't pay my bills because I felt stuck. I wasn't feeling like a specific job was the right job. So I just felt stuck in life. My bills were falling behind. I didn't know my purpose without my uniform. Okay. So my big problems at that time, finding my purpose and having money to pay my bills. Okay. And then I figured out my purpose, right? And then I found a way to pay my bills by walking in my purpose, right? Okay. So what was it like there? Okay. It wasn't a pleasant time. Couldn't pay my bills. What was the point of change? The point of change was when my coach helped me to realize that I love teaching. And then he made a comment about teaching for income. I put 2 and 2 together and the math started mathing. And I was like, I could teach for income, right? So that was the point of change for me in that place. How did I get up? I started out on a mission to figure out how I was going to teach for income. I got on a mission. I started investing in myself. Up to this point, you guys, I probably have invested well over $200,000. That's including my degrees. Okay. I invest a lot in my personal growth. Okay. And where I am now is where you see me now, helping people, mostly women and a few gents from time to time, helping women to leverage their gifts and their expertise and to build a profitable coaching brand. So I help them leverage their gifts and expertise to build a profitable coaching brand. Okay, that is my story. So when you tell your story, don't leave people don't leave people in the dumps. Tell them how you came back out of it, because you want them to see that if you came back from that thing, they can come back from that thing too. That is how you tell your story in a way that's inspirational and it's influential. Okay, telling my story when my heart hurt was unhinged. Yes. Oh, y'all. See, it depends. This can this depends on who you're telling. That depends on who you're telling. And that's why I'm like, in well, my clients have a safe place to really communicate and talk about the struggles, y'all, because business is not easy. But I'll tell you what, it's easier when you have a group of people who get you and understand you, who can motivate you along the way. One thing about my clients, they're very, you will find them cheering somebody on every day. You'll find them cheering each other on. You'll find them cheering me on. Um, and they're just amazing, y'all. Like that when you in business, like that's important. You need people who understand you. You need people who can help to keep you on track, because business gets hard at times, y'all. Now, in my program is a safe place to vent, to but it's also a safe place for us to be honest with each other. Okay. And so with my clients, like one of my clients, she sent a picture yesterday, and she was like, "Well, what do you think about this picture?" I was like, "We need to find you another one, because you too pretty for that picture. That picture is just not doing it." I mean, it wasn't her picture; it was the background that she had. I'm like, "Listen, you outshining that picture too much. We got to find you another one, because you are just too pretty for that, right?" So we found her some more templates that she can use that were more fitting to her. I'm like, "See, that was an example of me being honest. I'm not gonna let her put that picture out there, because I know that there's a better one for her that's gonna make her shine, because she's beautiful, right?" But they don't. My clients don't get offended. They're like, "Oh, well, help me get this together then." Like it's a safe place to be honest. Because listen, my clients don't pay me to lie to them, right? So I'm honest with them. If it doesn't look right, I will tell them this just don't look right. Or you know what, this is beneath you, because you can do better than this, right? When they don't like stuff, I'm like, okay, well, let's just try it. Let's go for it. Let's get out here. Let's do this thing. And it's just a really great place. And so you need that when you're building a business, because it's not easy, y'all. So make sure you got your crew, right? Make sure you got your people that you can lean on when things get tough, right? Because building a business can be a lonely place. Okay. So today we talked about building a profitable brand platform. We talked about how a platform is a means or opportunity to communicate ideas or information to a group of people. That group of people is going to be your audience, okay? And so you as a CEO, you as a leader, you as a brand builder, you're not just a person who sells a product. You are a person who is the CEO of your business, and you're running a world-class brand, okay? So from now on, you are running a world-class brand. That does not mean perfection. It means excellence. World-class means excellence. Excellence is you do the best you can with what you have. Perfection is you're waiting for something that you don't have. And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting for this thing that you don't have. That's perfection. Excellence is doing the best that you can with what you have right now. You are the leader of a world-class brand. And that's how you have to start thinking when you're focusing on building your platform. And when you build your platform, the sales will come. The trust will come. The influence will come. Okay? So keep all yes. Thank you. Thank you for popping that in the chat. World-class brands, okay? And so today was all about thinking about the big picture, right? Not just focusing on the macro, okay? But looking at the macro. What is the big picture, y'all? What's the big picture? Okay? You got to get out, you got to be seen. Okay? You need that place to gather your people. Every expert, you need a platform to speak. Why? Because you got ideas. You got stuff to say, right? You got some stuff to say. And guess what? People need to hear what you have to say. So you got to have a place to gather your people. You got to have a nurturing strategy where you're sharing content on a regular basis because you've got ideas, perspective, processes that you need to download, right? There are people who are waiting to hear what you have to say. You got to download that information to them, okay? You need visibility, you need sales, and you need conversations, y'all. If I had to, all of these things are super important. But if I had to tell you the thing that really took my business to a whole new level, I would tell you is conversations. Because I told you guys that I used to run my business by just running ads. Because I was doing my introvert thing. I run my ads and then they'll buy my product, right? But I will tell you that having conversations with people has taken my whole brand to a new level. Because now I'm not guessing when I create stuff. I'm not guessing when I'm putting out content. If I put together an offer, somebody asked me that, how do you put together these offers? I could put together an offer right now and I could make $1,000. Look, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 1:19, right? I could put together an offer and probably go sell it to 3 people by this evening and have it sold. And the reason why I can do that is because I talk to people and I know what they need. I know what problems they're having. Okay. And when tomorrow we talk about we're going to talk about how to we're going to talk about the 5 elements of a premium offer. You will understand why it's so important to talk to your people. And I'm going to give you some market research strategies for how, if you don't know what to create, if you're struggling to figure that out, I'm going to give you some market research strategies tomorrow. And I don't want you to think it's complicated, right? When I say market research, I'm just saying I'm going to show you how to find out what people are looking for, okay? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And I'm going to show you different offer types that you could put together. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to go through the 5 elements that you need to make sure you have when you're putting together a premium offer. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Natasha. So today, y'all, I'm gonna be looking for your comments inside the group, okay? So for my VIPs, I'll be emailing you very soon with the information for our VIP sessions and also to help you pull together your messaging. So we're gonna work on your messaging for the VIPs. So today, I want you to think about what topic related to your business that you can talk about without preparation, okay? That's today's action step. Go ahead and post that topic. Whatever topic you can talk about without preparation. If somebody called you and said, listen, in 5 minutes, I need you to get on Zoom and talk about this, right? What topic can you talk about with very little preparation? The reason why I want you to come up with that, I want you to think about that is because that is one thing that you can use to start building your platform. Remember when I talked about content and nurturing? If there is something that you can talk about that's related to your business, with little preparation, that's a sign that something you should be talking about often. And you can spin it in different angles. Now that's a whole nother class right there, right? Repurposing content, spinning it from different angles. That's a whole nother session. But what I want you to understand is that that one thing that you can talk about in your sleep or without little preparation, that is a powerful topic that you can start using today to start creating content and start building your platform around that thing. But make sure that topic is related to your business, okay? So I'll be back tomorrow for 5 elements of a premium offer, and then on Thursday we're going to talk about sales made simple. So we're going to be talking about money again on Thursday, and then on Friday I'm going to show you how to put together your sales game plan, and then I'll be live also Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for all of your comments, and for those of you who are watching from inside of the group, I'll see you inside of the group. For those of you watching from YouTube, hello. I didn't forget about you guys either. Thank you guys for tuning in from YouTube. And I will see you guys back here at the same place tomorrow, but there will be a live replay running tonight inside of the group at 7 p.m. tonight. For those of you who couldn't make the whole live, or for those of you who can make the live at all at 12, there will be a live replay running tonight at 7 o'clock. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can message me. You can email me. Thank you so much. You can send me a message on Facebook. You can send me an email if there's anything that you need. I know I got a few people to respond to. Some of you guys need the workbook, but y'all, I'm here this week to, pull on, ask questions. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you need anything from me. All right. Y'all have a wonderful one, and I'll see y'all again tomorrow at the same place and the same time.